it will unfold with perfect timing for me. And it does. And the signs for me are incredible. I keep seeing the same number sequence over and over and over and over again. And that's my sign. I see that as my guide.
Welcome back, my phenomenal guest. Today's episode is going to be so interesting because we have a best-selling author and a corporate coach, Barry Nicolaou, here today. His work is to deconstruct the untapped power of subconscious thought and the science of creative visualization. So interesting. His book, 11 Master Secrets to Business Success and Personal Fulfillment, is an international #1 Amazon bestseller. It is an insightful read for people wanting to understand and uncover the most common obstacles for business success and personal fulfillment. Barry Nicolaou, welcome to the show.
Annie, thank you so much for that introduction. It was beautiful.
When I was reading about you, there were so many things I wanted to pick your brain about. But today, what I want to talk about, obviously your work and your own personal journey, but I want to talk about creative visualization, because for me, it seemed that this is the key factor of what you teach, what we can learn from you, creative visualization. And when I was reading the word itself, creative visualization, I was like, is there any difference between visualization and then creative visualization? And also just define what does visualization mean for you, because we all have different understanding of different words, especially for me and for so many listeners. Majority of our listeners are from US, but there are listeners from Europe, and we all understand these words in a different way. So define what visualization means for you, and also, is there any difference between just visualization and creative visualization?
Absolutely. And very good question. Very good opening question. Visualization is creative. I'll start with creative visualization. Creative visualization is the ability to see the things that you would like to manifest in your life as real now. The things that are to come. Einstein called it the preview of coming attractions. Creative visualization means going into the future and finding the solutions that you need right now, or the life that you want to live. Now, sometimes when we don't know the answer to something, we have to get creative. So the term creative visualization is about finding a solution that you want to experience in the future now. The term visualization on its own is basically the same thing, but without the creative element. So more or less, if you separate the words, it really means the same thing. You know, you're creatively looking for solutions in your life. But at the same time, what's very important to note is you have to first ascertain what you believe to be true as a person. And Einstein asked this question of all of us, and not many people know the question, and less people answer the question. And the question is, do you believe that you live in a toxic universe, or do you believe you live in a friendly universe? And the aim of the question that he asked was not to give a long, drawn-out answer. The aim of the question is to get reduce your answer to one word. Do you inherently believe in your heart that the world is a toxic place? Or do you inherently believe in your heart that the world is more of a friendly place? And unless you consciously answer that question in your heart, and you know that what you're thinking and what you're saying is true for you, then you will start to creatively receive the tangible experiences of that perspective.
I was reading about your book, and there was this, the words of, it's almost like a corporate intuitive guide to success. And I love the word intuitive. The name of the show is Intuitively Rich, because I'm all about intuitive living. And not many people mention intuition and business together. What was the realization that led to you to use the spiritual side and to look at a business as a holistically, basically?
Absolutely correct, Annie. You are so right. I discovered a long time ago that people that run businesses are still people, and that side of them, that spiritual understanding of wanting the most for themselves, for their children, for their families, that doesn't really change in a corporate environment, because what does a leader want? He wants what's best for his team, his superiors, his business, his customers. He wants the best for his surrounding environment. So in our personal world and in our professional worlds, that same person wants the same thing for both of their worlds. So if you can bring value to your world as an individual, life will then offer you value to what you want, right? And if you're a business, what do? You offer value to your customers. And if you want your customers to stay loyal to you, well, the more value you give, the more honest you are, the more transparent you are, the more likely your customers will want to stay with you. Yes. So it's almost like these principles are not new, but business has become a little bit greedy and a little bit money driven and there is this sense, Annie, that there is limited money out there. There is unlimited funds. There is so much money in the world, it's not funny. And businesses act out of scarcity. They don't act out of abundance. And that's where we go wrong. I've got my second book coming out in 6 weeks, end of November.
In November,
yes. And it's all about that. Yeah. It's actually, I'll show you this. This is the front cover. You're one of the first people to see it. Can you see that on screen?
Move the mountain. Oh, I love the words intention, reset.
Yes, it's all about resetting intention, but I go into the science of creative visualization. And I've got in the book, and I don't mind sharing it with you now, I've got a 6-step process for creative visualization. And if you're open to it, I can run through those areas now for your listeners and for yourself, Annie. And you might find something in these steps that you need to apply. Is that okay with you? So the first thing you have to do, and if you have a pad and pen out, can I suggest you write some things down? Because after this podcast, you might want to think about applying some things in your life. The first thing you have to do is you have to define what you want. A lot of people don't define their desire. They define what they don't want. They don't define what they want. Most people that I coach, corporations and individuals, I ask them, what do you want? And they don't know the answer. Most of us are like that, but we're very good at talking about what we don't want. They're not the same thing. So you've got to get laser specific about what you want. That's the first step. The second step is to know that the possibility of that. So if you have a desire and then you say to me, well, Barry, I have this desire. I don't know if I can achieve it or not. So I say to you, does this exist in the world somewhere for somebody else? And you will say to me, probably yes. What I want exists in the world right now. So then what we're saying is this is a true thing. It's not like I'm making it up or you're making it up or whatever it is. So the first thing you've done is you've said, this is what I want. The second thing you've done, you've said, this is possible. The third step is to catch the feeling of that. So what I need you to do when you have a quiet moment is to close your eyes and consider what it feels like inside your bones when this becomes a reality for you. What will you be doing? Who will you be helping? What area will you be living in? What will you be driving? What charity can you help out? Can you give some money to your parents? Like looking at the situations of what you will be doing. The fourth area is to release toxicity in your life. So you've got to get very specific about the toxic influences that you currently have in your life. And it's not just people. You might not get enough sleep. That's toxic. You need 6 hours straight of sleep. Science is now saying for the brain to be able to convert memory, you need 6 hours minimum, right? Are you getting that amount of sleep in a row? Are you eating properly? Are you exercising where you need to exercise? Is this happening? Now look at your family and look at your friendship circles as well. Are the people that you're spending the most time with, are they a toxic influence on you? Do they make you feel drained about who you want to become or who you are? And that's how I can tell. When I leave someone's company, Annie, I can tell whether they're a toxic influence or whether they're a friendly influence. And I gravitate to the friendly side. You cannot do the first 3 steps and allow the toxicity to remain at its current level. You have to make some moves, okay? The 5th step, and there's 2 to go. So the 5th step is to release the timing of your desire, which is a little bit hard to do because when we want something, we want it now. We don't want it next week or next month or next year. We want it now. And then I keep saying to myself and the people that I help coach is that the reason that most of us don't get what we want is because we introduced fear and control as to when we think we need it. We need that thing to happen right now. And that's not the way life works. Life, nature, goes in its own rhythmic balance to the seasons. It doesn't rush the seasons. It takes its time and it opens and closes the seasons when it is ready, seasonally. So you cannot force nature. And the thing is, we're talking about human nature now, right? So if you trust God, if you have a higher understanding that God has the aerial view of your life, you have the ground view, that you work towards what you want, you do your creative visualization work, and then you say, I am not going to choke this by thinking that I know best, because I don't. I'm letting you know I'm on my second book. I still don't know. So I work towards what I want and I say, God, you know the timing for me. I'm going to leave it to you. And I have a trusting that it will unfold with perfect timing for me. And it does. And the signs for me are incredible. I keep seeing the same number sequence over and over and over and over again. And that's my sign. I see that as my guide. So I keep putting the work in and I keep saying thank you for my life and I keep loving my family and I keep working towards what I love. And isn't that the point? That we get to a point in our lives where we're not necessarily preoccupied with the destination, but we're preoccupied with how beautiful this journey is. And that's where life blossoms. So I release the timing of when I think it should happen, but I work towards my own timing. But if it doesn't happen for me, Annie, I don't get upset anymore. I don't hate myself. I hate God. I don't say it hasn't happened and you don't love me. I don't say any of that. I just move forward with my intentions, and the things that come across my path stay because I haven't forced them. They come off their own ebb and flow. They come to my, and this is, if people could just get out of their own way, then what you will find is that you will have perfect experiences tailored for you to know, for you to grow in more love. So that's the fifth step. And the last step is to embrace your new reality. When you have manifested what you want, it's your job to get bigger. It's your job to show others it's possible. It's your job to know that the universe has your back. And once you apply these 6 steps continually to every situation that you want to manifest, it is like you have the ultimate guide to make decisions in your life, but not let the decision cripple you. You're just moving forward with love in your heart.
I love the 6 steps. It's almost like a guide to manifesting anything that you want, literally, because that's how it is. Like obviously you named it in a different way, but in my own words, I loved how you said, like, the first step is desire. The second, like, almost step is like to believe that it's possible for you. I think when we believe that it's possible, we make ourselves open and receptive to receiving everything that we want.
100%.
And I love how you just mentioned the numbers. I see now, before today, I saw like 111, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a good conversation today. And I learned so much. I have been seeing a lot of 1111 and 111s past few days, so I'm a huge like angel number fan. I'm always like, what does this mean?
I keep seeing 88. Annie, I've probably seen 88 12 times today 12 times. And here's the funny thing, when I look for it, I can't find it. And if I'm just driving my car and I just look left, out the window, 88. And I keep driving and my mind is somewhere else, 88. It comes like, and what I do now is I say a silent prayer and I say, God, I have seen it. Thank you. I have seen it. And it's like saying to me, keep going. Just trust me. Just keep going. Do the next right thing, the next right move.
Obviously, we have covered so many interesting things today. And I feel like in today's age, we have so many information. It's almost like overwhelming. So if people are like hearing you and like listening to us and they have like more questions and they want to dive deeper, because obviously we cannot talk. If we want to talk about all the topics that we want, we have to like keep this on for days. Where can people find you and where can people almost like pick your brain and ask you questions?
Absolutely. So if you just Google my name, just put Barry Nicolaou, Nicolaou, Nicolaou into Google. The first two pages are about me. Hit any of those links and you will get in contact. But the first link should be my website, and there's um, a contact button there. But LinkedIn and Instagram are probably the other two places where we can chat. So just type my name into LinkedIn. You'll see the corporate work that I do. And then if you type my name into Instagram, you'll see all these little sayings that I love to talk about as well. So it's exciting.
Mention the name of your upcoming book. It's going to be released November 18th.
Yes, yes. I just had a meeting with my publisher and he's trying to push me for next year. He's saying, Barry, I want to put 2023 in the book, not 2022. So I'm thinking about it. But so far, we're on track for 18th of November on Amazon and in Australian bookstores, hopefully too.
And your first book, mention the name. Where can people find you? And also, are there any services that you offer people at this moment that people can just like?
So the first book is called The 11 Master Secrets of Business Success and Personal Fulfillment. And what's happened with that book, it's become an online course, which is very exciting. So people end up with a 60-page blueprint on themselves after the book. So you end up with this beautiful booklet on who you are, what you love, where the toxicity is coming from, where the love is coming from, and help us to make better decisions.
Before I ask you to leave me with a message, and obviously you'll have the time to like leave me and the listeners with a message. Is there anything you really wanted to mention during this our like insightful and short and deep conversation? But I just didn't got the chance to ask you the question.
I'd like you to identify what the next right move is for you. I don't want you to consider, like you can look at the 6 steps and, you can apply it. And if you're dedicated, you will apply it and you will see success. But if that's too much for you, just identify what does the next right move look like in the direction you want to go into. Will it be to call your accountant? Would it be to say sorry? Would it be to forgive yourself for something that you think that you're holding on to? God does not want to punish you. He sees it as lessons for growth. Parents don't punish their children. They see it as lessons for growth. It is the same thing. Okay. So get to a situation where you identify the next right move. And when you identify it, do it. If
you would say just a word, you can make it a sentence or two, but what would be the word or sentence? You can even say 3 sentences if you feel guided to leave me and our listeners with whatever just comes into your heart.
I want to talk to the part in everyone that is not negotiating with fear or doubt or frustration, and let them know that what they want is possible. If they just let go of the doubt and the self-hating and the lack of self-worth, I hope for everyone that's listening that they get to a stage in their life that they realize that they are a divine spark of God. And you have been given the faculties and the tools to be able to create the life that God wants for you, which is a life based on love and joy. If you, for whatever reason, don't believe that, you will be presented with lessons to get you to know that. Sometimes those lessons might be in the form of people, situations, circumstances, to get you back to love. And some of us go kicking and screaming, and some of us just understand it straight away. So it's I hope for everyone that's listening, and I keep saying this on every podcast that I'm on, that you get to a place where you realize how beautiful and how powerful and how joyful you were made to be.
I'm pretty sure people are going to take at least one thing that just sparked the something in their mind. We don't even know how we are going to inspire the people, and it's never with the things that we think. It's always something we don't think is. We think it's not important that we said. That the majority of people are going to take and learn from it. So thank you so much, Barry, for being part of the show, for being here, and just bringing value to me because I'm the person who's hearing it the first time, and then the others and the listeners and our beautiful, phenomenal people are going to hear this. And thank you so much for bringing the value to your family and to your own self, because if you are not teaching all of this to your own self, you are not going to be here and inspiring me and other people. So thank you so much for being part of the show.
Annie, thank you so much for having me. If I can leave you with one thing that someone said to me last week, I'd love to, if you're open to it. I was in a podcast in New York, and you know what the gentleman said to me at the end? He said to me the most beautiful words I've ever heard. He said to me, Barry, I want to thank you from all the people that you'll never hear from. And it got me emotional, because he said, you'll never hear from these people in your life, but I want to thank you on behalf of them, because what you're saying and the love that you're putting across. And I've never heard it expressed in that way. And it's just, so you know what, Annie, you know, you're doing some amazing things. So congratulations. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much to you. And thank you, listeners, for listening and being here. Have a phenomenal rest of the night. If it's night wherever you are, maybe it's morning and you are listening to this to the way while you are going to the gym or work. So have a phenomenal rest of the day or night wherever you are. And until next time.